videos and whatnot about Power World. But first, I low-key want to do this article. Matter of fact, I'm gonna do this article first. I had an article about the superhero copyright thing. Oh, this is like superhero adjacent news. And it's funny that Agatha Harkness beat came up as soon as I pulled up this Anthony Mackie clip. But I want to talk about just the superhero industry right now, because it's not hitting, man. Because most people right now, like, that are fans of like superhero media, we are not eating. The MCU is the top cream of the crop in terms of like comic book films and comic book like live action. They're not doing too hot so well. DC, they're just fucking DC. They're trying to put so much focus and so much money into their live action stuff. You just gotta shake your head and go, ooh. They're putting like money into that to where their animation is suffering. Then the comic books, like nowadays, don't get me wrong, there's still a bunch of people that read and love comic books, but compared to how they were, let's say even 10 years ago, just in the community of people who enjoy superhero stuff, it's not as common. They're not hitting that hard that much, and like they're not as coveted within that community. Not the specifically hardcore comic book community, but just in general, the community of people who like watching and consuming superhero stuff. It's not hitting the same. It's not hitting the same for us, and we're not. And if we were paying attention to it in the first place, so I want to go through this video first so I could get a break from yapping and see if there's anything in here I could like take away from or talk about. Because I saw like the first minute. This video is 6 minutes. I might speed through it, but I saw the first minute and I was like, oh, I need to save this.
You know what make me mad? I thought I was good. Like I came out and everybody was like, oh my God, that's the best trailer ever. I'm like, I got Harrison Ford. So we come on stage and I hear Robert Downey Jr. just announced that he's coming back to the universe. And I'm like, but no, I got Harrison Ford. Could have did that the day after. He had to do that Comic-Con. Let me have Comic-Con, dog. Like we go back, dog.
You know what makes me mad? This sent me down a whole rabbit hole for over a week, and I'm ready to really talk about this.
Scared the shit out of me.
With me here. First, let's talk.
I'm with you.
Anthony Mackie has already done interviews where he said he's been uncomfortable
numerous
on set because of the lack of diversity. He said they can't even get
which is a fact.
Do his fucking hair and makeup. First off,
which by the way, for any of y'all that don't know about hair and makeup for black people, well, makeup, I don't know. I don't wear makeup, man. I've never did makeup. I don't give a fuck. But black hair, for people who aren't into like doing hair and stuff like that, like more caucus hair, more straight hair, like 2C and whatnot, like the hair that lands in the 2s and the 1s and even the 3s partially, is not easy to deal with sometimes, and you need to be specialized in that. Like dealing with straight hair, like a lot of the commonly known techniques for dealing with hair work better on straight hair, because like braiding black hair is not as easy as braiding fucking just regular 2C straight hair, or even, for example, dealing with locks. That's a specialty. There's a reason why there's hairdressers and there's hairdressers that are specifically locticians, or hairdressers that are specifically braiders for people with black hair, because it takes a different skill set to deal with that. Now, makeup, I don't really know too much about that. It's not my forte, but hair, I do know. You can't, when you're a black person and you have certain hair types, you can't get everybody to do your hair, man. Cause like dumb white dudes that be cutting hair on set and stuff like that, I'd be scared to let them cut my hair too, and I'd be uncomfortable, because I'm not gonna lie, because they're probably gonna walk up to you with a pair of scissors saying, it's time for me to cut your hair. The fuck out of here. You can't cut black hair with scissors all the time. It's not always gonna work. Especially if you're doing shit like lineup, you need either a good steady hand to do it raw with the razor, or you need to do like they be doing in them damn Dominican shops. Dip that damn razor blade in some alcohol, wipe it off, and line my shit up properly. Don't forget, nigga, I didn't always have locks, okay? I know how a fucking barbershop chair works. I just don't like going back to that bitch.
The moment Anthony Mackie picked up the shield in Endgame, people have been down his fucking throat about being black and being Captain America. Like,
and this This point right here, what she said, I started dying laughing when I really took a second to think about it. Cause I was like, yo, it's like niggas didn't watch Captain Falcon and the Winter Soldier and get the fucking point. The whole series is about the fact that black people get treated unfairly everywhere they go. And the black person could be the pioneer of something. And American history will go out their way to erase any history of that black man doing something before a Caucasian person first. They will go out their way to erase that shit from history and prop up the Caucasus person that did it. This is a real pattern that you could look at in American history that there's certain things that I will go back and forth on and I will let people debate me on. That's a point I'm not letting no fucking body debate me on because I know my history. And if you're black and you don't understand why I won't debate nobody on that, you need to cut this video the fuck off. This is one of the few times I'll encourage you to cut my video off. You need to cut this video the fuck off and go look up stuff like Black Wall Street, what happened in Tulsa, Oklahoma. You need to go look up the origin story of Central Park, okay? You need to go look up why they used to call black babies gator bait. I just gave you stuff from 3 wildly different areas of America, from 3 wildly different periods that you need to go look into. If you don't understand none of those stories, go look into those. Here's another one. Look up the history of gynecology. It gets real fucking dark when you learn how, I forgot what bro's name was, but fuck him anyway. The dude who like pioneered gynecology and humans, that was a sick motherfucker. I'm not gonna tell you nothing. Go look up his story. Go look up what happened. But like, yeah, it's a long-standing history of that happening in America, and the story of Isaiah Bradley in both the comics and in the TV show, Netflix streaming show, whatever the fuck you want to call it, and in a television show, was about the fact that that's what happens. And guess what happens in real life? He said Captain America in the series, if I'm not mistaken, it may not be the exact quote, but it was basically something along the lines of, yo, people would rather call me an N-word and never like accept the idea of Captain America just because a black man picked up the shield, not knowing that Captain America was the first Captain America was a black man. So it's funny that they did all that in the show, and they talked about all that in the show just for people in real life to turn around and do the same thing. It's like, bro, what the fuck? Like, did y'all watch the TV show and just take it as a TV show? Or did y'all watch the TV show and actually understand it? Like, did y'all watch the TV show and go, yeah, U.S. agent was in the right? Like, no, that motherfucker was not in the right, and you were not supposed to think he's in the right. But, you know, as long as the character is Caucasus, they don't give a fuck. And I'm not talking about everybody that watched the show and dislike that. I'm talking about that certain sector of people that, like I said, they're always either racist, gayist, or sexist. I'm talking specifically about those people. If it don't apply, let it fly. But if you feel like it applies,
for real. It was on Anthony Mackie. They was on Haley Bailey as the Little Mermaid. It was on black people's necks. Then
I'm not gonna lie, Haley Bailey. I said Haley as a Little Mermaid. Now, I don't agree with the motherfuckers on their reasons as to why they believe she shouldn't be the Little Mermaid. All that bullshit about she's underwater. How would the sunlight put melanin in her skin? No, I don't agree with that dumbass shit. The reason why I personally don't like Haley playing the Little Mermaid is because, one, the Little Mermaid, if y'all don't know, is my favorite Disney princess. So if I want to see the Little Mermaid in live action, it has nothing to do with white or black. I want to see the character that I saw in the cartoon as a real person. The original character was not black. It has nothing to do with empowering black women and none of that. My thing is, because I believe that shit was pandering. My thing is, if you want to put a black character in a fucking movie, stop taking an already pre-existing white person and just casting a black person in a role. If you actually gave a fuck about making a black character, make a completely original story, make a good character, then take a fucking crayon and color that character in brown skin. That's how you make a good that's how you make a good black character. Or same thing with live action. You make a story, you put a character in that story, and you cast a black person as that fucking character. It's it. That's it. It's that simple. I'm not a person that believes that every story showing a black character has to be a diversity story about solely purely black experiences, because there's a whole section and group of black people that grew up not having black experiences. They deserve to have stories too, you know? So I'm not one of those people, even if they do cast black people, it gotta be the blackest story ever. Yeah, they gotta be in the hood. Yeah, or they gotta be in a story about fucking slavery. Yeah. No, I don't believe in all that. If the story does have that and it's written well and accurately, cool. I just simply didn't like that she was in that role because, like I said, I wanted to see a live action Ariel. Ariel was not originally black. That it is what it is. But like I said, my main thing is I would have rather they made an original character and then put her in that role, because she has an amazing voice. She's amazing at singing. But like, instead of trying to bring a new audience or create a new IP, that Chloe Bailey, the person who is really fucking phenomenal at singing and acting, instead of putting her in a role, in a position, in a movie, in a new IP, in a new franchise that you would be able to make more money off of, they went for the safe play and they fucked it up. Because the thing about that movie is, I hear some people say, oh, they didn't make that movie for you and Adele. They made that movie for the little girl. I don't know any little kids that like that movie. I know several young black girls that watched the movie and said that shit was ass. So I'm not saying that's the opinion of every black girl that watched the movie, but it's like, damn, if y'all made that movie for young black girls, y'all didn't succeed, because they didn't like it either. That, and I always find arguments like that stupid as fuck, that, oh, it's for kids, it should entertain kids argument. I always find that argument dumb as hell, because it's like, yo, the Lion King, the original Lion King was made for kids. People of all ages love that movie. Incredibles was made for kids. People of all ages love that. Adventure Time was made for kids. People of all ages love that. Regular Show was made for teenagers, but kids and people of all ages love that. So I don't believe in that shit of, oh, just because it's for kids, the plot gotta suck. The plot, it could be ass or whatever. It's not made for you. It's made for kids to go at. No, you can make a good story that is guided and aimed towards kids. So just to put that out there, because I really don't want you motherfuckers to confuse me with one of these people who just uses the word DEI to cover up the hard R. No, I just genuinely don't like that they didn't give her own story and they plopped her in a Little Mermaid story.
Came out and it underperformed. It underperformed against WandaVision at that, which had,
I'm gonna let her speak,
little to no minorities in it, if we being so fucking for real.
To that point, I say WandaVision was a better show. I stand on that statement. It has nothing to do with black or white. What she is saying is true. I can only off the top of my head name one black character at all. Fuck relevant or irrelevant. I can only name one black character at all in that entire fucking show. Out of those two shows, out of WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier, WandaVision was just a better show. So I'm not mad that it underperformed compared to WandaVision. This point from her, I don't agree with. Even if she's a fan of one more than the other, WandaVision was just a better fucking show. Like Captain America: The Winter Soldier was a safe show. That's why people didn't want to watch it. So if she's insinuating people didn't want to watch it because he was black, I wholeheartedly agree. But I think the people who aren't racist, like everybody else, the rest of us, the normal niggas, we just didn't watch that shit because WandaVision was better. Well, I watched it, but everybody else didn't watch it because WandaVision was just better. And WandaVision had actual marketing.
I really do feel like they cut him way too much slack, especially in the MCU. So
this is a true fact, and I'm gonna give you a couple facts. First, I'm gonna start off by giving you some information with a phrase that with a parable my grandfather used to always tell me. As a black man on this earth, you're going to have to work twice as hard, because You can walk in a job interview with every qualification listed and a nice suit, and they would still rather go get that white boy that is in a ditch, clean him up, put a suit on him, teach him nothing about the job, and put him in a position before they put your black ass in that position. That's number one. Number two, if you look at his past, and this kind of goes into the Jonathan Majors thing, which I don't know if she addresses, but if you look at the past, that's exactly what they did with Robert Downey Jr. They killed this nigga's character off and they gave him a whole new character and brung him back. But Jonathan Majors got a fucking sentence to some fucking community service, and all of a sudden we need to kick him out the MCU. These are facts. Robert Downey Jr., if you go back into history, he originally didn't get that role as Iron Man because they said, oh, you're such a good actor, we want you. No, Terrence Howard whooped that nigga into the studio. He said, yo, I'll star in a movie if you put him in it. Because at the time, he was a bigger star than Robert Downey. So he was like, I'll star in this Iron Man movie if you put him in it. Put him in this role. I'm just saying.
After watching that interview, it had me thinking about what they did to Chadwick Boseman's family at the motherfucking Oscars. And they told his wife that he was going to be getting the honorary fucking Oscar, like how they did Heath Ledger. And then while she was sitting in the front row with the speech ready, they gave it to Anthony Hopkins. And they was tight. I felt...
Let me see what Anthony Hopkins is. Is this motherfucker relevant to Chadwick Boseman in any meaningful way? No, not DS. Who the fuck is this? CB is a Welsh actor, one of Britain's most recognizable. Born. Oh, this nigga's still alive too. Cool. Anthony Hopkins. MCU. Who the fuck does he play? Portrayed Odin. What the fuck? They gave Yeah, okay. I had to look it up. I wasn't sure. If I was Chadwick Boseman's relative, I would be pissed too. Cause why the fuck is Odin doing a damn speech for a Black Panther character, for a black man that's a Black Panther character? Like, if they would have had the actor that plays damn, what's her name? Black Panther's little sister in the movies, or even the bald bitch that's in the movies, if they would have had her do the speech instead of like the family or something like that, like, it still would have been better probably to get the family to do it, but it would at least still make sense because those characters are relevant to Black Panther. What the fuck you get Odin for? I don't even think the motherfuckers cross paths in the MCU. Like I think they have like at least a separation of degree. Like, I don't even think this nigga talked to Thor, if we being real. Like, from what I remember, I don't remember this nigga even talking to Thor. So what the fuck does Odin have to do? That's at least a degree of separation, even if he did talk to Thor. This nigga has never seen Odin a day in his fucking life, according to the MCU lore. So that just feels weird.
Like, right then and there, they was playing in black people's face. But when I start thinking about Robert Downey Jr. specifically,
Peep Game and Lock It. Now let me stop.
Feige, I really start getting mad. I just did a report on why I believe that the movie Blade should be recommended in the National Film Recommendation to be in the Library of Congress. Because
it should.
It's the first film to start a multi-billion-dollar franchise.
Technically, I think it should just be put in there because it's one of the first notable black, because this is around when I cut the video off. I just think it should be in there because it's one of the first notable black superhero movies. Because yes, I can already hear some old ass nigga or some well actually ass motherfucker. Well, actually, the first superhero movie with a black person was Blank Man or Meteorite Man. But no, we're talking about actual recognizable superheroes that weren't original for the movie. Shut the fuck up, you know what I mean.
And this is when Marvel had just got rebought and restructured, and Blade was the first movie to come out of the MCU in 1998 after they went bankrupt. Blade did numbers. It did so many.
It did. That's a fact.
Movies. How can you erase?
Now, I'm not gonna lie. The other two movies, I mean, we should put them in there because Trilogy is like astronomically asked to a level to where it's actually historic. But the other two movies, if those don't go in there and you can only put one movie from the franchise, it has to be Blade 1, definitively. That movie has aged not only aged wonderfully, like she said, at the time it came out, it was praised and is still praised. That's a movie that has stood the test of time. So for that reason alone, of just being able to stand the test of time, it should go in there. But it also has some notable historical things, like she was saying.
3 movies from the entire franchise. And y'all not slick, because during my research, I heard that y'all fired the Indian man, the man of color who was running the MCU that put out the Blade film to begin with. And as soon as y'all fired him, y'all got a white man in charge. Y'all got Kevin Feige and all of that.
I'm not gonna lie, if that nigga was in charge of Blade 3, I think it might have been time to switch up leadership, because that shit sucked. Remember when they CGI'd Blade's eyes in because he refused to open his eyes? Which isn't all the way true, but still. Remember?
Started dropping Iron Man. Mind you, I'm pretty sure Robert Downey Jr. was the last person to do blackface, but we're gonna let that slide, okay?
I'm not.
I'm doing
the fuck?
research about Blade, because after...
I'm not. Hold on, let's see. Let's see if I could. Let's see how hard it is to pull up the Carfax. Let me see if I could get it to pop up with just the initials. Images. Wait, was Tropic Thunder a comedy movie or was it a serious movie? Let me see. This looks like a comedy movie. Video, let me take it off screen while I look at it so I don't get a fucking any copyright violations.
Yeah, exactly. You know, there were times when I was doing Jack that I...
Oh, yep, we can answer that. Look at the title of the clip. I'm gonna exit it out really fast because you could always pause and rewind. Look at the title of the clip. Yeah, so that was a comedy movie. So that means somewhere in his mind he thought that shit was funny.
Started seeing Wolverine and Deadpool, to me it felt like they was extorting a black man and a black character for extra views because the MCU hasn't been doing so goddamn well. And that's when I start going down the Blade rabbit hole. I find out that they... Oh
yeah, Blade, I found out a long time ago, and it's been pretty public news. In case you don't know, the reason why the Blade film is still up in limbo, up in the air, is because basically that movie has been in development hell. Like that movie went through like 3 or something like that, 3+ writers. The number I heard was 6, but the number I heard that matches consistently is about 3. But still, to fire one writer and go to another one on a movie that's not written yet, that's a red flag. The fuck you mean there's no script and you hired 3 more writers? Like, you didn't get a script the first time with this writer and you hired 2 more and potentially even more than that. That's fucking scary. That means that there's a good chance that that Blade movie either never comes out, or if it does, it feels ass and rushed, because it is.
Having so many difficult problems behind the scenes, arguing with all people of color at that. Like, let's keep it a buck. They've been arguing, firing, and people of color have been walking off the project. Even Mahershala Ali and his agent had came out and did a whole fucking newspaper article about this was the most unprofessional shit that they've ever dealt with in their entire career. That Marvel is fucked up. And then you know what Kevin Feige did to be petty? To be petty about the fucking Blade movie? He let the Library of Congress put Iron Man, the first one, on their list to be preserved forever because Robert Downey Jr. changed history by having the first movie in a $1 billion franchise, even though we know it's Blade. Now, this happened in
I agree Blade did numbers. I agree Blade was a good movie. I agree Blade put the MCU on. But until they go back and change the canon, which, if what she's saying is true, Kevin Feige is jealous as fuck of that series, so it'll never, of the original Blade trilogy, and considering the 3rd movie, just on a quality level, that shit should never be canonized to the MCU. That shit's not gonna be canon, and it will never be considered the first one. So, I don't know about that point, shorty. I don't know, that's not really a strong point. It's never has been canon, unless they basically soft reboot the MCU and retcon it in, or they find some other way to retcon it. Nah, it's not canon. It's never been directly confirmed to be canon to my knowledge. Yeah, just getting a neck itch about that one. Nah.
The same time that Kevin Feige and them was beefing with Mahershala Ali and his team and the writers of Blade. It was a petty move. It was petty. And frankly, it was racist because Robert Downey Jr. did blackface. So there's no reason for him to be in no Library of Congress anymore. He threw that shit away. Now, we already seen...
That's not how it works.
Comic book fans and Blade fans have been furious about the fact that the movie and the show have not dropped. Bring us to 2024, which is why I felt like they put Blade in there just to extort black people, in my opinion. And to bring Blade in there just to extort black 24, which is why I felt like... And to bring us back...
I don't know what she said. I just heard Blade in 2024, but yeah.
Away from a black man shine in a movie that niggas said they wasn't gonna go see because he's black is fucked up. I'm on this.
Wait, what?
See because black man shine in a movie that niggas said they wasn't gonna go see because he's black.
I don't know what the fuck movie she's talking about. I'm confused.
It's fucked up. I'm on this side of TikTok. I don't hear nobody talking about no hype about Captain America New World Order. One chance that people...
Nobody gives a fuck. I'm not gonna lie. If I ask somebody, would you care to see the Falcon play as Captain America? Unless they were like really, really deep into the MCU, I wouldn't expect them to give a fuck, because Winter Soldier and Captain America, I wouldn't go so far as to say that show sucked. I would argue it was a pretty good show, but the timing of when it came out, people think the fucking show sucks. On top of that, the main character is fucking black. Cause I think Black Panther was fucking terrible as a movie. You could argue me and debate me on that all day. I will die on that motherfucking hill that Black Panther sucked. I never watched Wakanda whatever, but Black Panther 1, that shit was definitely dead ass terrible. That's number one. Number two, I don't know about... I don't know.
And taken away from a black...
I don't know about that one.
Movie that niggas said they wasn't gonna go see because he's black.
Oh, that's the second thing I was trying to say. I lost my train of thought. Yeah. That show didn't have a lot of fanfare. Not like you said, not a lot of people watched it. So why would I give a fuck? Like, why would I give a fuck about watching a movie that is gonna have a plot that largely connects to and stems from a show that for one reason or another I didn't give a fuck about or watch? Now, is it fair? No, because like I said, that series was genuinely good, but because the main character was a black Captain America, people who use DEI to replace slurs that they can't say because of TOS aren't going to watch it. It is what it is. It is what it is. People just aren't going to watch that fucking movie like they did the other Captain America films. That, and also, I think the fact that the MCU is a bit stale definitely comes into play, because like a lot of people are fucking tired of the MCU. They want to see the MCU slow down. Like they want to hit that. They want the MCU to hit that fucking that Young Thug tweet, boy, slow down. Like they want you to slow down, dropping all them bullshit movies and TV shows.
I'm on this side of TikTok. I don't hear nobody talking about no hype about Captain America New World.
Because they don't give a fuck.
Chance that people had to appreciate this film. You had Robert Downey Jr. come out here again to steal a black person's shine. Now all of a sudden the movie dropped, and to talk about bringing Blade back as a new film or TV show on Disney Plus is back in the conversation. Now all of a sudden Kevin Feige wants to apologize and backtrack and, oh yeah, Blade is the beginning, da-da-da-da-da. Blade been the beginning, and you knew that Blade was the beginning of this multi-billion-dollar franchise. And when you had the opportunity to defend a black man and to defend a black piece of art, you said no, and you got on
fair,
and you let them all know that Robert Downey Jr. held down the motherfucking franchise. Now all of a sudden you want to change your mind. Now you want to change your mind. I'm
not gonna go so far as to say he held down the franchise. What I will say is Robert Downey Jr. is a strong pillar in the MCU canon, being that like he's in every fucking movie, and half of the important shit that happened he either had something to do with it or he was the reason why it happened. And like I would say that he was a pillar. The Hulk, even though they'll never give that nigga a movie again, he was a pillar, even though they also made him a bitch. Captain America, he was a pillar. And fucking Thor, because all of the magical stuff that had to do with everything usually connected back to Thor. Like even for example in Infinity War and Endgame, when whichever fucking movie it was, when he had to come to Earth to get like 3 of the stones and 2 of them were in Asgard. So I'm just saying, he was a very strong pillar, but I don't know about he carried the shit on his back. Like Chris Hemsworth is, if I was Chris Hemsworth, I'd be standing in the back like, the fuck? Because like, in my opinion, out of the like early, like out of all the MCU, Thor 1 is one of the best films out of the entire MCU. And the Thor films, like whichever one had Gore the Godslayer, that one was what the fuck is this? Out of 10. But like the rest of the Thor films, yes, including Ragnarok. I watched Ragnarok and I liked it. A lot of people shitted on that movie, but they expected something that the movie was never supposed to be. That movie to me was good. It was good. It was a good movie. Yes, I like Thor 2, The Dark World. That's that's up there on my list of MCU films. Now, when it first came out versus now, is it up there? No, not because it necessarily is bad or it hasn't aged with time. Well, it's more so because just better shit has pushed it out of my top 10 over time, you know? So like, to me, Thor carried the MCU and he doesn't get the fucking credit he deserves. Like, not like him as in Thor the character, but like, you get what I'm saying, bro. I don't have to fucking explain that. But Thor is an important pillar, just like Steve Rogers, just like Bruce Banner, just like Nick Fury. Even though I still believe they shouldn't have gave that nigga his own show any of those times that they did. Even the one that's technically non-canon, but still is canon, but not really. It runs in a parallel universe. Whatever the fuck explanation they have for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. He is also an important pillar in the MCU. And everybody else is like supporting characters and supporting cast. That being everybody from Falcon and Black Panther to like Bucky Rogers and shit like that. You know, so that's just my thoughts on it. I think niggas be trying to give Robert Downey Jr. way too much fucking credit. He did not carry the MCU. He was a pillar. I never take away from him. He had a strong role, but being the fucking being a reason why everybody wanted to watch the MCU, hell no.
I'm gonna really get into how all the stories of the black people in the live action MCU films are struggling, sorry ass black narratives, minus Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury. I don't appreciate y'all having it.
Nick Fury's story was not that good. I couldn't even make it through Secret Invasion.
Yell black girl magic from Monica Rambeau to start flying. That, to me, that was a slap in the face to black women. Cause
wait, what?
As Nick Fury. I don't appreciate y'all having to yell black girl magic from Monica Rambeau to start flying.
Is that a real thing that happened in the movie? What the fuck? I don't know. I feel like I wouldn't mind it. That's one of those things where I personally wouldn't mind it, but I would also understand why somebody would be offended by it, you know? Like I can't get mad at you for getting mad, but I'm personally not mad. And if you want to start a rampage and burn the town down, I'm not picking up a torch, but I'm not going to make you put down your torch either, you know?
That, to me, that was a slap in the face to black women, because why would you even do that? So to end this conversation, yeah, it may have been funny. Yeah, maybe he really was kidding, but that shit is not funny. That shit is not funny because it's dead ass real. And I truly believe that. Yeah,
some people use levity to like make statements that are fucking wild and out of pocket more comfortable to talk about. Some people just laugh and joke about it, even though it's not really a joke.
In his heart of hearts, he meant what the fuck he said, that he was upset that Robert Downey Jr.
I would be too.
His motherfucker.
I'm not gonna lie, I would be too, mostly because I would be like, yo, what the fuck? Didn't this nigga die? This nigga died and you brought him back? Oh God, here it starts. Because if y'all aren't fans of comic books, one thing that people who read comic books will always tell you is no character is truly dead. They can always be brought back. The number one most popular example that people can use is the stupid ass explanation they have as to how Superman didn't die when Doomsday literally beat that nigga to death. Doomsday didn't beat him to death. Doomsday only beat him to where his heart rate was so low that no human technology could tell that that he had a heart rate. He just beat that nigga into a coma. It's like, no, he beat that nigga to death, and y'all pockets started making y'all float like, oh shit, my pockets filled with balloons. Oh, let me fill them with rocks. What did these rocks say? His heartbeat was low. Yeah, fuck it, just stuff it in your pockets. Like, that's basically what happened. Like, it is basically the start of that on the movie and the media front. Nobody's dead as long as they're alive, and we can still keep making money off of them. Because for those of y'all who don't know, in the comic books, there's like 7 Captain Americas, but the modern day Captain America is still Steve Rogers. There's a reason for that. It's called money.
Fucking moment. Because that's supposed to be your friend. If that's supposed to be your friend, they not about to shit on the biggest opportunity of your life. And
I don't know about that one because at the end of the day, on that front, it's business. So you kind of can't look at it as it's your friend, because these are not like 2 normal people. These are 2 people on like an international stage. So on that front, I would be like, yeah, that kind of sucks. But on a business front, if you're Marvel, like I understand, like everybody got feelings about how they feel about this stuff, and some of these topics are like sensitive to us because we black people and we gotta fight for this much representation. It's this much all the way to the ceiling room and representation for them, but we gotta fight for this much representation. So like I said earlier, I'm not picking up a pitchfork, but I'm not gonna say, hey, it's not that serious when you pick up your torch and pitchfork, because it's like, I get it.
in this multi-billion-dollar franchise.
I agree with most of what she said. About 90, I don't want to say 99. I say about 70 to 80% of what she said, I really, really, really do truly agree with. This is a good ass part of the video. I'm not gonna lie. I agree with a lot of what she said. Shout out Ashley Woody. Excuse me. Marvel and DC, another story about Marvel and DC being nefarious. Marvel and DC just lost a superhero trademark. Here's what that means. Now, I don't know why the fuck they had a trademark. And by the way, they had a trademark to the term/word superhero, which I was looking at some tweets when this first happened and came out over the weekend, saying basically that's why, for example, in The Incredibles, they didn't directly refer to characters as superheroes. They would say soups or supers. You know, that's why like a lot of those movie studios and stuff like that were doing shit like that apparently. The U.S. Patent Trademark Office has shaken things up in the world of comics today, as a long-held trademark by Marvel Comics and DC has now been canceled. Has now been canceled. The announcement comes courtesy of law firm Richmond Johnson Lee, RJLF, who have declared victory over DC and Marvel in a trademark case over the word superhero via Bleeding Cool. The request was granted after DC and Marvel failed to respond to court requests over the challenge to the joint trademark, and now that it's been canceled, their clients, Richard Super and Super Babies Limited, can now use the term without issue. Who the fuck is Super Babies Limited? Are they making all these crackhead ass babies that can fucking jump 50 feet? The hell is this? Good things come, the Super Comic Earth Studio. Oh, they make a comic. Okay. As I was about to say, is this like a store for like children's diapers or something? Can now use the term without issue. A joint trademark. A joint trademark between these two companies for fucking to trademark the term is fucking crazy. DC Comics and Marvel Comics registered a joint trademark of the word superhero in 1977, and it eventually was approved in 79. Since they have successfully defended the trademark multiple times, both stateside and internationally. Oh, since then, I was about to be like, what? Since then, they have blah, 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 both stateside and internationally, but a new challenge to the trademark was made May of this year. That challenge was issued by this company, saying that superhero, as well as terms like superhero, are generic terms that aren't entitled to trademark protection, which is true. Because for those of y'all who don't know, back in the day, they used to call, I say back in the day like I was fucking. Hold up, do I have anything I can pretend is a cane? No. Back in the day, whenever you had a game console, they wouldn't call it a game console. They would call it a Nintendo. So even if you got a Sega Genesis and somebody saw you playing on your Sega Genesis, a console that has nothing to do with, and matter of fact was in direct competition with Nintendo, if they saw you playing a game console, they would call it a Nintendo. That's why even if you talk to like older people, like above like their 60s and stuff like that aren't in the games too much, they'll see you playing a whole fucking PlayStation and be like, oh hey, what are you playing on your Nintendo? Because for that generation, Nintendo outsold and outdid Sega so much. Everybody, when they thought of game consoles, they thought of Nintendo. Nintendo had a very, very, very large ad campaign that they spent a bunch of money on, where they were trying to convince every motherfucker that ever talked about a game console to call it a game console instead of a Nintendo, or call it what it is, a PlayStation, Sega Genesis, Nintendo, Sega Genesis, fucking Xbox, whatever it is, to call that console that, and don't just call everything a Nintendo, because it would be easy for them to lose a trademark. Or even look at the story of Tupperware. Most people my age range don't even know that Tupperware is a brand. They just know Tupperware as that thing you put your food in, if they even know the term Tupperware. But most of the people know the term Tupperware, think of it as a term for a type of like long-term, it is disposable Tupperware, but you have to put disposable. So like a long-term food storage device. Right now, Tupperware, they're going out of business partially. It's a lot of other factors in there. Don't think this is a sole factor, but this is a good one. One of the big factors, big reasons why Tupperware is going out of business is because their Tupperware isn't unique to their brand identity. People refer to any food storage device as Tupperware. So, are generic terms that aren't entitled to trademark protection. The petition states DC and Marvel are wrong. The trademark law does not prevent companies to claim ownership over an entire genre, which is true. If you go through the complaint, you will find a host of examples from DC, Marvel, Image, and more utilized as proof of the core point. That's the legal stuff if you want to go through and check that if you're watching this. Boom. Super Baby. Okay, I don't give a fuck. What does that mean from here? This won't affect Marvel or DC as far as what they can print or use, but it does mean they no longer have ownership of that trademark, meaning that other companies can now freely use it. In a statement, lead counsel for Super Babies said, "This is a win for everyone, and make sure the term superheroes has a home in the public domain. Securing this result is not just a win for our superhero stories, teach us to stick up for the little guy, so it's only fitting." Blah blah blah, a bunch of yappage. Super Babies released a new image that celebrated the win. Yeah, a bunch more yappage. Okay, so those are the last two paragraphs. I didn't realize. I don't have any problem with this. I just wanted to report it because I thought y'all might find it interesting, because I've seen a lot of people were talking about this on the timeline. I don't really give a fuck either way. I'm just reporting the news. This is technically a W, but it's not a W in any meaningful way of like, anytime somebody tried to say superhero, Marvel and DC was like, these bitch ass niggas that we about to talk about wasn't over there trying to like, oh yeah, you said superhero, give us all your rights, give us all your rights, give us all your rights, yeah, all the profits you got for the movie, that's ours now. Like, they weren't on no type shit like that. So it's cool, I guess. Nintendo could be looking to take the Power lawsuit overseas, but one attorney suggests it may be harder to win in the US than in Japan. I am not an attorney, and I have never took the law exam, I have never took the bar. With that being said, I know damn sure they would never win this fucking suit in the US, for the simple fact that if you actually looked at the idea they tried to patent for Pokemon, that shit is so vague, no American court would allow that shit to pass. When you skip the first paragraph, as highlighted by patent attorney, and translated by automaton, so by AI. Wait, let's see if this dude has a presence like I did other dude earlier. Pause. Research engineer. Okay, what did it say? Patent attorney. Okay. Oh wait, I saw it. Yee, auto type helping me. Okay, I'm just seeing patent attorney analyst. Nintendo. Okay, that's more Nintendo news outlets. I see this, but I don't see anybody combined with this. So I don't know who the fuck this is. I can't look up their qualifications or check it. I think this is the dude that was referenced in the last set of articles I read about this. Not from today, but from the other day when I was just reading about this in general. We don't know who the fuck this is. So take that salt, dip it on your tongue. We don't know who the hell this is and what their qualifications are, and I can't find them out. There are 4 likely patents that Nintendo and the Pokemon Company previously applied for that seem likely candidates to be brought up in the ongoing, which I have a video to argue against that. Specifically, all 4 of these are divisional patent applications filed after 2 previous patents dating back to 2021, which is new information to me. I thought it was 2022, but it doesn't matter for the point I'm going to show later in a pirate software clip. But reportedly, what is his name? Big Kiyoshi Kai. Oh wait, whoa. Big K Curry. Big K Curry, because I'll never say Kiyoshi. That letter behind it, them niggas will beat my ass. I am not soccer. I believe in I can get my ass beat by a woman if she knows how to fight. Specifically, all 4 of these divisional patent applications, Big K Curry says that these patents also have divisional patents applications in the US. That don't mean it's good to fight it over here. Automaton points out that 2 of these, which seem to describe Pokemon Legends Arceus style gameplay mechanics, like throwing one of your own Pokemon at a wild one to start a battle. That's not how Power World works. You don't start the battle by throwing it. You try to catch them. Actually, in Power World, you fight them, then you throw the Pokeball. So, fuck your patent. Throwing your Pokeball at a wild one to start a battle, and one related to riding Mount Pokemon. When the fuck could you mount Pokemon? What the fuck game is that? Sources, Mount Pokeride. And if anybody's a damn Pokemon expert, let me know in the comments. Ride Pokemon or comment me? No, it's not a game. Unlock requirement, encounter rate in animation? No. In the manga? No. Okay, so that's only something. Like I said, oh, no, that's the fucking manga. So Pokemon fans, the ones that be dick riding Nintendo, that just anything Nintendo does, anything Nintendo shits out is the greatest thing ever. One of y'all that have played all of it. Is there any Pokemon game? I don't give a fuck about the manga, as you just seen. I don't give a fuck about the anime. Oh wait, hold up, I gotta pause this. I don't.
Overwatch 2.
Ah, damn, I was supposed to watch that earlier. Shit. Oh wow, I already read that. But I don't give a fuck about the manga. I don't give a fuck about the anime, as you just seen. If you have any evidence or any example of a game where you could actually mount the Pokemon niggas, come to the front. Come here. Let me talk to you. Walk with me, gang. If y'all niggas have any evidence of you being able to ride Pokemon in the game, let me know. I'll shut the fuck up about this one. But as far as I know, you can't ride no goddamn Pokemon. Were filed this year and also have been filed for a faster track 1 examination. Exactly. Y'all trying to speed shit up just so you can sue these niggas. They're still pending though, and just because they'll be reviewed faster doesn't mean that they'll actually be approved, with the mount-based one reportedly notified of non-final rejection. That one I don't think they should make at all, because you niggas are not the first one to make a game where you can mount an animal. Fuck out of here. Reportedly being notified. Oh wait, as the name suggests, that rejection is not final, but one of the sections of US patent law that's apparently influenced the decision so far is one of the questions of whether something is actually patentable in the first place. Interestingly, it sounds like this could influence whether or not a US based lawsuit is successful. It's not. Don't bring this shit to America, please, so that shit could fail. If one is filed, that is. Big K Curry reportedly claims that in the US, software inventions are likely to be classified as abstract ideas, which are considered ineligible for a patent, which throwing a ball at a monster, that's very, very vague. Like, if it was something as specific as throwing a ball at a yellow rat to catch them, sure. If it was that specific, I might be able to let you have that. If Power World stole the UI of Pokemon, I'd be able to have you that. Power World stole the design of Pokeballs, I'll let you have that. If they actually stole the design of Pokemon, not vaguely similar to Pokemon, if they actually stole the design of Pokemon, I'd let you have that. But the closest example that everybody loves to bring up is Anubis Lucario. And in my other video, I explained how different they are from a design philosophy and design standpoint. As someone who knows a lot about art in terms of like design theory, color theory, and stuff like that, them shits are nowhere near the same. For now, it's all a waiting game anyway. As far as the ongoing lawsuit in Japan goes, analyst Toto. Let's look up Big Sakarin Toto. Let's see if he has any profile. Is this his actual profile? Or is this somebody referencing him in a tweet? Okay, this is actual Tokyo Game Show. CEO of Japan CEO of Japan Game Industry Consultancy, blank, blank, blank. Advisor for Unicorns. Playco. Playco sounds familiar. They have 600 followers. I'm not even clicking on that. This one, 200,000. Okay, this might be a notable brand. Digital property rights to the world's gamers and internet users. Okay, so that more has to deal with legal stuff. And let me look at his personal website, see if that shit at least looks official. CEO blog from Tokyo, Japan. Okay, so this person is specifically a blogger, more so about legal stuff, what I'm getting. Okay, he has articles dating back to 2023 about stuff. Let me see what's his tenure. Let's go to 232. See how far back. Okay, he has stuff going all the way back to 2007. So he has a lengthy track record. He definitely has a lengthy track record. So I'm not going to necessarily hop out the window and say this nigga's trusted. I'm going to say that he's been around for a while. So I wouldn't necessarily take what he says as a grain of salt. I would take what he says as an experience. If we are to assume that those articles going all the way back to 2007 were actually written by the person they're referring to in here, and that he actually knows what the fuck he's talking about. So reading this statement, I'm assuming this nigga knows what he's talking about, just to preface it. Previously told us that he thinks it's unlikely Nintendo would have filed it at all unless it was confident it would win, which is a fact. Nintendo has never lost a lawsuit that they initiated. Actually, wait, no, didn't they lose the Donkey Kong thing? I don't know if they initiated that, so that could be correct. And looking at the track record, it's highly likely that they win. Highly likely is not the same thing as guaranteed. However, it's not clear how long this could even go on for. Another IP expert previously suggested that it's more likely to last 5 years than be settled during the first year. So we're going to talk about this for a fucking while. Jeez. So we could just be in for a long ride. Is there anything more? No. All right. I can already hear the sexist people saying their sexist shit. But that aside, let's watch these clips. Before I say anything, let's watch these fucking clips.
You have patented a mechanic 2 years after a competitor has put it into the market and then sued them for it. Not a fan of that. Not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of patenting mechanics in games in general. But I think this...
And as what I saw the comment section in this video said, the fucking Nemesis system. Fun fact. You know why games don't use a big ass arrow to tell you where you go? Like, y'all remember Crazy Taxi? Y'all remember how Crazy Taxi at the top of the screen will have a big ass arrow like this telling you where to go? You know why you never seen that in any game that wasn't Crazy Taxi? Because it was copyrighted. You know why? Especially back in older games when loading times used to be crazier. Look at stuff like Budokai Tenkaichi, the Budokai Tenkaichi series. You know why there was no there was no mini games on loading screens? Why it was rare? Because it was patented. Nobody could legally use this shit. And it always sucks to see shit like that, especially with the Nemesis system, because the Nemesis system is such a good concept in gaming, and just such a good concept, period, that WB has just put their fat ass butt cheeks on and they're just sitting on it. They're not doing shit with it. It's such a great system, but that's something that's actually specific enough to be able to reasonably be patented. But at the same time, it's like, bro, I can't wait till they lose that fucking patent and game studios could actually use that shit. I can't wait, bro.
Don't like what Nintendo is doing, and it looks scummy as shit. So I'm waiting to see how this plays.
Fuck look is.
Understandably, Nintendo will likely win. And the reason why I feel that way is because it is in Japanese court, and Nintendo has never, ever lost a lawsuit that they have initiated. Ever. And that worries me because to me, it does not look like Pocket Pair is in the wrong here.
At all.
The practice of patenting, specifically mechanics in video games, is dog shit behavior. I don't think that should ever be done. I don't think that you should be patenting mechanics whatsoever. At all.
Because that just holds back the entire gaming industry as a whole. But as I always say up on his fucking page, if it was possible, as I always say up on his page, if it was possible, these corporations would stuff your ass in a room and put a whip to your back and make you work for free. Only reason they can't do that is because they can't easily get away with it.
The mechanic that they launched Legends of Arceus with, right? This is throwing a Pokeball or throwing an object at a monster in 3D space, aiming it and then throwing it, right? That's the patent that they have on that game mechanic. There's a problem with that. Craftopia, this game right here, launched in 2020, also by Pocket Pair.
Which is a valid point. Because if they're copywriting it from Arceus, that is a very valid point.
It's prior to this launch date. Nintendo patented it after they launched this, and then are using that to attack Pocket Pair over putting it in Power World, which is a game that they launched later. So I'm waiting to see how this plays out. Yep. So I know that prior art is a big thing in the United States, but I don't know if it's a big thing in Japan.
Which is fair.
Japanese court is very specific in the way that they handle this stuff. At the same time, Nintendo has never lost a lawsuit that they've initiated.
At all.
I hope Nintendo loses.
I pray.
That eventually, we are no longer allowed to patent game mechanics because patenting game mechanics is dog shit and only serves to hurt the industry and remove cool ideas.
That is a fact. And with that being said, I just wanted to show those clips on stream because I be seeing his clips in my algorithm all the fucking time. And he's actually knows what he's talking about. He has a verifiable he has a verifiable history that I could pull up or you could pull up at any time, and he knows what the hell he's talking about, and he don't be talking out his ass, saying shit out his ass like one of these dumbass weird ass.